Some stars may be gone, but their light will never fade. Today, we honor beloved legends we've recently lost, and celebrate a living icon who still inspires millions around the world. This is Gone Legends. Please like, subscribe, and share where you're watching from as we pay tribute to their unforgettable lives. Today, we honor the life of a man whose music transcended generations. He was the soulful voice, the keyboard virtuoso, and the co-founder of one of the most beloved rock bands of the 1970s and 80s. His songs combine sophistication with emotion, philosophy with melody, and they remain timeless classics. This is the story of Rick Davies. Richard Davies was born on July 22, 1944, in Swindon, Wiltshire, England. Growing up in post-war Britain, Rick found his escape and joy in music. His father, an avid music fan, encouraged his interest by bringing home records that introduced Rick to jazz, blues, and early rock and roll. At just 8 years old, Rick began playing the harmonica. Soon after, he transitioned to piano, the instrument that would define his life. Teachers quickly noticed his natural gift for music. Though his family had limited resources, Rick's talent was undeniable, and he nurtured it with dedication and persistence. By his teenage years, he was already playing in local bands, dreaming of something bigger. In 1969, Rick Davies co-founded a band originally called Daddy, which soon changed its name to Supertramp. The early years were tough. The group struggled financially and went through several lineup changes. But Rick never lost faith. His steady leadership and songwriting vision guided the band forward. By the mid-1970s, Supertramp found its signature sound, a fusion of rock, pop, progressive music, and jazz elements. With Rick on keyboards and vocals, and Roger Hodgson as his songwriting partner, Supertramp rose to international fame. Supertramp became one of the most successful bands of the 1970s and early 1980s. Their 1974 album Crime of the Century marked their breakthrough, featuring hits like Dreamer and Bloody Well Right. The album showcased Rick's powerful musicianship and thoughtful lyrics. In 1979, they released Breakfast in America, which became a global phenomenon. With songs like The Logical Song, Take the Long Way Home, and Goodbye Stranger, the album topped charts around the world and won 2 Grammy Awards. Rick's deep, bluesy voice provided a perfect counterbalance to Hodgson's higher tenor. Their interplay created one of the most unique and recognizable sounds in rock history. Even after Hodgson left the band in 1983, Rick kept Supertramp alive, leading tours and recording new music. His steady hand and musical vision ensured the band's legacy endured. Rick Davies was a master of the keyboard. His blend of rock, jazz, and blues influences gave Supertramp a sophisticated, yet accessible sound. His lyrics often carried deep reflections on society, relationships, and the human condition. Unlike many bands of their era, Supertramp's songs were as thought-provoking as they were catchy. Fans and critics alike praised Rick for his ability to balance complexity with emotion, music that could make you think, while still making you sing along. Rick was known to be private and humble. He avoided the spotlight when not on stage, preferring a quiet life. In the late 1990s, he and his wife, Sue, moved to Long Island, New York, where they lived peacefully. Despite his fame, Rick remained down-to-earth, cherishing his family and the simple pleasures of life. He faced significant health challenges in later years. In 2015, Rick was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, a form of cancer. This forced Supertramp to cancel a planned tour. Yet, even while battling illness, Rick maintained his love of music and his gratitude for the fans who had supported him for decades. On September 5, 2025, Rick Davies passed away at the age of 81. He died peacefully, surrounded by family, after a long and courageous battle with cancer. His passing was felt deeply across the music world, especially among fans who had grown up with the sounds of Supertramp as the soundtrack to their lives. He was laid to rest in New York, close to his home, in a private ceremony attended by loved ones. Rick Davies' music was more than entertainment, it was an experience. His songs carried wit, wisdom, and soul. They asked questions about life, identity, and society, yet always remained accessible and melodic. From School to Goodbye Stranger, from Dreamer to Take the Long Way Home, his music continues to resonate with new generations. Rick's life reminds us that great art often comes not from flash or fame, but from dedication, passion, and authenticity. Rick Davies lived 81 years of music and meaning. He gave us melodies that will never age, lyrics that still ring true, and performances that touched millions. Though he is gone, every time a piano plays the opening of The Logical Song or the harmonica cries in school, his spirit is alive. Rest in peace, Rick Davies. Your music will forever guide us home. Today, we remember a woman whose voice, charm, and unforgettable presence made her one of television's most beloved characters. She could make us laugh with just one line, yet she also brought heart, wit, and authenticity to every role. This is the story of Polly Holliday. Polly Dean Holliday was born on July 2, 1937, in Jasper, Alabama. She grew up in the South, where storytelling, hospitality, and humor were a part of daily life. These early experiences shaped her natural warmth and sharp comedic timing. Polly developed a love for the performing arts early on. She studied at Florence State College, now the University of North Alabama, where she majored in drama. After graduation, she taught high school English and history before deciding to follow her dream of acting full-time. Her decision to pursue acting was a bold one. In the 1960s, opportunities for women from small towns were limited, but Polly had the courage to step onto the stage and never looked back. Before becoming a household name, Polly honed her craft in regional theater. She joined the Solo Repertory Theater in Sarasota, Florida, where she spent years perfecting her skills and taking on diverse roles. She was versatile, able to move from comedy to drama with ease. Theater colleagues described her as fearless, professional, and deeply passionate about acting. But her breakthrough came not on stage, but on television. In 1976, Polly Holliday was cast as Florence Jean Flo Castleberry on the CBS sitcom Alice, a show inspired by the film Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. As Flo, Polly stole the show. Her southern drawl, sassy personality, and quick wit made her one of the standout characters on the series. Her catchphrase, "Kiss my grits," became a national sensation, one of the most famous lines in sitcom history. Polly's performance earned her 2 Golden Globe Awards for Best Supporting Actress in a Series and 4 Primetime Emmy Award nominations. She became so popular that in 1980, she was given her own spin-off series, Flo, which followed her character's adventures after leaving Mel's Diner. Though the spin-off only lasted 2 seasons, it cemented Polly Holliday's place as a television icon. While Flo was her most famous role, Polly Holliday's career spanned decades across television, film, and stage. She appeared in hit films such as Gremlins, 1984, where she played Mrs. Deagle, the mean-spirited villainess, and Moon Over Parador, 1988. On television, she took on dramatic roles in shows like Home Improvement, where she appeared as Jill Taylor's mother and the client. She continued working in theater, returning to Broadway and regional productions, always showcasing her deep love for the craft. Her career was a testament to her versatility. She could make us laugh, frighten us, or move us to tears. Despite her fame, Polly Holliday remained remarkably private. She never married and had no children, instead devoting much of her life to acting and the friendships she built along the way. Colleagues often described her as kind, intelligent, and deeply professional. She preferred to let her work speak for itself rather than live in the spotlight. She also maintained close ties to Alabama, where she was celebrated as one of the state's most beloved entertainers. On September 9, 2025, Polly Holliday passed away peacefully at the age of 87. Her death marked the end of an era for fans of classic television. Tributes poured in from across the entertainment industry, remembering her as a trailblazing actress who gave us one of TV's most unforgettable characters. She was laid to rest in Alabama in a private family ceremony, returning home to the place where her journey began. Polly Holliday's legacy is simple yet profound. She made us smile. As Flo, she created a character who became part of American pop culture. As an actress, she proved she could do it all: comedy, drama, film, and stage. Her famous line, Kiss My Grits, may have made her a star, but it was her talent, authenticity, and dedication to her craft that kept her in the hearts of fans for nearly 50 years. Holly Holliday lived 87 years filled with laughter, talent, and heart. She was a small-town girl who became a Hollywood icon, a woman who made us laugh while teaching us the power of being unapologetically yourself. Though she is gone, her voice, her wit, and her spirit will live forever on our screens. Rest in peace, Holly Holliday. Your light will never fade. Today, we remember a man whose voice gave the world one of its happiest, most enduring songs. He was a founding member of a band that captured the joy, innocence, and harmony of a generation. He was a singer, a teacher, and a lifelong lover of music. This is the story of Mark Volman. Mark Volman was born on April 19, 1947, in Los Angeles, California. He grew up in Southern California at a time when music was exploding with new sounds. From a young age, Mark was drawn to harmonies, rhythm, and the magic of performance. At Westchester High School, he met Howard Kaylan. The two bonded instantly over their love of rock and roll and decided to form a band. What began as a teenage dream quickly grew into something much bigger than either of them could have imagined. In the mid-1960s, Volman and Kaylan co-founded the Turtles, a folk rock and pop band that quickly rose to fame. Their 1965 cover of Bob Dylan's It Ain't Me Babe put them on the charts. But their greatest success came with the 1967 hit, Happy Together. With its joyful melody, bright harmonies, and timeless lyrics, Happy Together went straight to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It dethroned the Beatles' Penny Lane and became one of the defining songs of the 1960s. Mark Volman's voice, along with Kaylan's, became the heart of the Turtles' sound. Together, they created music that still plays at weddings, movies, and celebrations all over the world. The Turtles went on to release other hits such as She'd Rather Be With Me and Eleanor. Their sound was filled with optimism, fun, and unforgettable hooks. After the Turtles disbanded in 1970, Mark Volman and Howard Kaylan reinvented themselves as Flo and Eddie, a duo that carried their humor, wit, and harmonies into a new era. They collaborated with some of the biggest names in rock history. They toured and recorded with Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention, adding comedy and energy to Zappa's experimental performances. They sang background vocals on albums by T-Rex, including the glam rock classic Bang a Gong, Get It On. They also lent their voices to albums by Bruce Springsteen, David Cassidy, and many others. Their versatility and unique sound kept them in demand for decades, even as the music industry shifted and evolved. Mark Volman was more than a performer, he was a teacher and mentor. He earned a college degree later in life and became a professor of music industry studies at Belmont University in Nashville. His students remembered him as passionate, approachable, and endlessly knowledgeable. He loved sharing not only the history of music but also the lessons of resilience and reinvention that had guided his own career. Volman also worked to protect the rights of musicians, advocating for fair royalties and recognition for performers from the 1960s and beyond. Friends and colleagues described Mark Volman as warm, funny, and endlessly optimistic. Even after a 2015 diagnosis of Lewy body dementia, a progressive neurological disease, he continued teaching, performing when possible, and cherishing the community of music around him. He never stopped believing in the power of song to bring people together. On September 5, 2025, Mark Volman passed away in Nashville, Tennessee, at the age of 78. He had battled Lewy body dementia for nearly a decade with courage and grace. His death was mourned by fans, students, and fellow musicians who celebrated the joy he brought to the world. He was laid to rest in Nashville, a city he loved deeply and where he spent his later years as both a performer and teacher. Mark Volman's legacy lives in every note of Happy Together. That song, joyful, timeless, eternal, is his gift to the world. But beyond that, his legacy is in every student he mentored, every band he supported, and every collaboration he brought to life. He was a man who believed in harmony, both musical and human. Mark Volman lived 78 years of music, laughter, and inspiration. He gave us a song that still makes the world smile, and he shared his love of music with generations that came after him. Though he is gone, the joy of Happy Together will echo forever, keeping his spirit alive. Rest in peace, Mark Volman. Your harmony will never fade. Today, we celebrate a woman whose life has been a journey of reinvention, courage, and influence. An actress, activist, fitness icon, and humanitarian, her story is not about endings, but about the power of living fully, of standing tall, and of never giving up. This is the extraordinary life of Jane Fonda. Jane Seymour Fonda was born on December 21, 1937, in New York City. The daughter of legendary actor Henry Fonda and socialite Frances Ford Seymour, Jane was born into Hollywood royalty. Yet her early life was far from simple. At the age of 12, she faced tragedy when her mother died by suicide. Her relationship with her father was complicated, marked by distance and emotional restraint. These early struggles shaped Jane's resilience, her ability to adapt, and her drive to find her own identity in a world that expected her to live in her father's shadow. In the late 1950s, Jane began studying acting at the Actors Studio in New York, learning under the legendary Lee Strasberg. Her early roles quickly showed her versatility, from light comedies like Cat Ballou, 1965, to daring dramas such as They Shoot Horses, Don't They? 1969. But it was in the 1970s that Jane Fonda became a true star. She won the Academy Award for Best Actress twice. In 1971 for Clute, where she played a complex call girl entangled in a murder mystery. In 1978 for Coming Home, a powerful drama about the Vietnam War that resonated deeply with audiences. Her performances were fearless, authentic, and groundbreaking. She wasn't afraid to take on roles that challenged societal norms and forced audiences to think differently. Jane Fonda's career spans more than 6 decades, with highlights that define multiple eras of Hollywood. Barbarella, 1968, established her as a pop culture icon of the 1960s. The China Syndrome, 1979, brought attention to nuclear safety concerns, proving film could be both entertaining and socially conscious. On Golden Pond, 1981, where she starred alongside her father Henry Fonda, became a deeply personal project, giving father and daughter a chance for reconciliation on screen. Even in the 21st century, Jane has remained active and relevant, appearing in hit projects such as Monster-in-Law, 2005, and the long-running comedy series Grace and Frankie, 2015 to 2022, which introduced her to a whole new generation of fans. In the 1980s, Jane Fonda revolutionized fitness culture. Her Jane Fonda workout videos became a global sensation, selling millions of copies and inspiring countless people to embrace exercise as part of daily life. She didn't just create a trend, she launched a movement. Jane Fonda became as synonymous with aerobics and fitness as she was with Hollywood glamour. Her workouts also raised funds for political causes she supported, showing how she seamlessly merged business, culture, and activism. Jane Fonda has always been more than an actress. She is an outspoken activist, willing to take bold stands. During the Vietnam War, she became one of the most visible anti-war activists, a stance that brought both admiration and controversy. She has since expressed regret for some of the ways her activism was perceived, but never for her commitment to peace. Over the decades, she has championed women's rights, civil rights, environmental protection, and climate change awareness. Even in her 80s, Jane has remained active, famously getting arrested during protests in Washington, D.C. as part of her Fire Drill Fridays campaign to raise awareness about climate change. Her courage to stand up, even when unpopular, has defined her as one of the most fearless figures in American culture. Jane's personal life has been as dynamic as her career. She has been married 3 times, to French director Roger Vadim, activist Tom Hayden, and media mogul Ted Turner. Each relationship brought new experiences, challenges, and transformations. She is the mother of 3 children, Vanessa, Troy, and Mary, and has embraced her role as both mother and grandmother with love. Throughout her life, Jane has been candid about her struggles, including body image, self-worth, and the pressure of fame. Her openness has allowed countless fans to connect with her on a deeply human level. Jane Fonda's impact cannot be summed up in just her acting awards or box office success. She is a two-time Academy Award winner, a fitness pioneer, an activist who risked everything for her beliefs, and a woman who continues to inspire with her resilience. Her story is one of constant reinvention, from ingenue to superstar, from controversial activist to respected elder stateswoman of Hollywood, from fitness guru to climate warrior. Few individuals have influenced as many areas of culture as Jane Fonda has. Jane Fonda is living proof that life is not about standing still, it is about change, growth, and courage. She has faced tragedy, criticism, and triumph with equal strength, and through it all, she has never stopped fighting, for herself, for others, and for the world. Her life is not just a story of Hollywood success, but a journey of resilience, activism, and inspiration. Jane Fonda is not only a star, she is a living legend.